And now we're coming actually to the smallest company here at SF Online Session 6. It's E2Gold. The company only listed in January, and I'm quite excited to sort of present an absolutely new idea that is fairly unknown, and we try to sprinkle those in from time to time just to give you guys or our audience a bit of a perspective on what else is out there. And I'm excited to have Eric Owens join us here from E2Gold. And Eric, thanks for joining us this morning. You have an interesting exploration project in Ontario, the Hawkins Project, and excited to hear about it.
Thank you, Kai. As Kai mentioned, we are a brand new story. I'll just get this started here. We're a brand new story, brand new company. I'm Eric Owens, the president and CEO of E2Gold here. We just completed our IPO as of December 30th. That is a little over a month ago. We just got listed earlier in January after the weekend there, and we're just starting our first drill program up in north central Ontario. So as a fairly aggressive company, we were not even in existence last year at this time. So in a very short period of time, we grew from birth to a publicly traded company on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ETU, and have started our first drill program. Should you be interested in this, and why are we interested in what we're doing? We'll get to all of that in a minute, but we have an experienced management team led by myself. I've done this before and have been involved in the discovery of gold deposits throughout the Western Hemisphere. We have a very large gold exploration property in north central Ontario. It's a Hemlo lookalike. For those of you who know, Hemlo is a very large gold mining camp in northwestern Ontario, north of Lake Superior. And it's a relatively underexplored project. So there's a lot of potential, growth potential here based upon that set of circumstances. If we start with the unexplored aspect of this and its location in an emerging gold producing region as part of Ontario, as you can see from the inset map near the bottom of this slide, the location of Timmins, location of our Hawkins project, which is our only project at this stage of the game. We are located about a 12-hour drive north of Timmins, or excuse me, north of Toronto, where we're broadcasting from here today. And as you can see on this, the main map here, this portion of Ontario here, Lake Superior located over here, we show the established mining camps, Hemlo, Timmins, and Kirkland Lake. In their respective locations. We show two belts of gold prospectivity. These are what I'm just terming them the north and south belts here at this point in time, but they represent the western extension of the Timmins hosted gold deposits and the Kirkland Lake hosting gold deposits respectively. And we wish to note that all the current activity in this region are relatively new. From the Hart Gold Sugar Zone mine, the Borden Gold mine, of Newmont Gold Corp, and the Cote Lake project in Viam Gold. These things were barely discoveries 10 to 15 years ago. They have all been recently developed into mines, or in the case of Viam Gold, soon to be active. In the case of Island Gold, that's been an older 20th century mine, which has been reactivated in recent years. So this is an area that is generating new excitement in this part of Ontario, relatively underexplored for a variety of reasons, which can be discussed later on. But it's worthy of note, Hemlo, which lies 140 kilometers west of us, is a strong lookalike of our gold mineralization here. And this gives us hope for the discovery process. Sorry. A little bit more about the project itself. It's a big, rather large project. It's 60 kilometers long from west to its east end. It is centralized, and the central core area of this project is underlain by what we call the McKinnon Zone. It's a inferred mineral resource hosting about 328,000 ounces of gold, all at surface. That is from 0 meters depth to 150 meters depth. Open below that, 3.5 kilometers long, open along strike, has not been tested along strike. As we note, one of the other salient features is the potential for size. It is geologically similar to Hemlo, the Hemlo mine, and geology at Hemlo. It was staked by Don McKinnon Sr., who was a co-discoverer of Hemlo back in the 1990s. It was discovered initially prior to that and drilled by Falconbridge Drilling in the 1980s. So Falconbridge came in, drilled about 80 holes over that 3.5 kilometer stretch, and that is what we have used to calculate our resource. There's been no work done on this project. It's no serious or cohesive exploration activity since that time. Don McKinnon came in and staked it and then proceeded to explore a bit around about the rest of this project, but he absolutely was interested in this. Finally, the last salient feature is that we have great infrastructure. In spite of us being in a fairly remote part of Ontario, we're 2 hours drive to the nearest town where we can get supplies. We have accommodations within a 20-minute drive, which is located in a railroad community. There's 2 railroad lines that cross the property, and there's abundant logging roads. So this is a relatively easy access situation to be able to be exploring. Before we continue on, we do want to just sort of interlude here and tell you a little bit about the company. As I mentioned, we just recently completed our IPO. It was oversubscribed at $3.5 million, just shy of $3.5 million. We went with a lead agent at Beacon Securities here in Toronto, lead order with Palisades Capital, and currently insiders hold 23%, funds hold 18%, and high net worth individuals hold 19%. So all in all, we have a fairly strong set of circumstances and a very eager and interested group of people that want to see a little small junior like us carry on and build this thing, and hence the opportunity. Shares issued is a little bit over 46 million shares. We have a market cap of about $8 million at this stage of the game. So we are listed on the TSX.v, as I said, the symbol ETU. A little bit more about ourselves, myself and my daughter, Ellie Owens. I'm the president and CEO. Ellie is VP Corporate Development. We're the co-founders, along with my wife. So I've been around in the Western Hemisphere. I've been involved in the discovery of gold deposits, discovery or acquisition of gold deposits that are situated at about 7 million ounces collectively throughout the Western Hemisphere. Ellie herself is a geologist as well as a lawyer. So she's got experience up in northern Canadian mines, way up north Canadian mines, as well as within the law firms of Bay Street. Eric Martin rounds out our current management team as CFO. He's a great manager of money for us, as well as a good strategist and a tactical person to keep running on the corporate side. We will be adding a VP exploration shortly. She's somebody that's currently working for us at the moment, and she's a great manager, and we will be bringing her on formally in the next couple of weeks. In addition, we have a very strong board of directors, all connected with the mining industry, mostly here in Toronto, but one American as well. So it's a good group of people to get this project up and running. Now, if we move on to the actual details of the project and where we're going to go between now and the next year or two, and particularly aiming at our first year's activity. As I said, we've already started drilling this project. We have an 8,000 meter program underway. First 4,000 meters focused on the McKinnon Zone, which I identify here in the center of this main part of the map here, identified by the red zone there. 4,000 meters will be focused in and around that. That's the resource, 6.2 million tons at 1.65 grams per ton gold for a starter resource of 328,000 ounces of gold, just a little bit over that. Our goal between now and some foreseeable time in the future is to try and turn this 300,000 ounce gold deposit into something much bigger. We would like to try and identify the potential footprint of this deposit in the next couple of years to be able to decide whether or not this has potential to grow into a Hemlo-sized project, property or gold deposit or not. And that's our real plan. In the meantime, we're drilling within the guts, we're testing Falcon Ridge drill holes. We'll be testing some of these prospects. It's worth noting that this big map here is 15 kilometers long, so it's a fairly lengthy project. We have high-grade gold prospects dotted along that. For instance, way over here on the west side, we have a reported trench results of 7.5 grams at over 11 meters from the Johnston Barnes showing. All the way over to the east side at Colbert Dubroy, we have up to 33 grams per ton in grab samples. What we'll be discussing the nature of the mineralization a little bit closer next slide, but the point about all of this is we have a number of targets to test here, both geologically, both from historical prospects, as well as in and around the resource itself. And if you look at the inset map locally here, you can see the location of this 15 kilometers relative to the rest of the property. The property itself is 60 kilometers long. Most of the work that we see coming off to the east or the west in the next year or two is really going to be just reconnaissance work and geophysics for target identification. Most of our work is going to be focused in this central zone. A little bit more about sort of the Hemlo characterization that we like to go with at this stage, and that doesn't mean we won't find other types of geology here as we go on. We're in such early days on this project that there's still a lot to be learned about this project. But this is some of the historical results here of the old Falcon Ridge drilling from the 1980s. And you can see from a cross section here, number one, how shallow this is. These two drill holes are part of the resource, and the vertical depth is only 125 meters. And that's by and large how much we know about this property so far. You can see there's a core area of high-grade material in these intersections here, up to maybe 10 grams per ton, maybe a bit more at times, over 1 to 3 to 4 meters, surrounded by a 20 to 30 meter zone of 0.5 to 1.5 gram material, all hosted in this whitish colored rock you see in the background. And that whitish colored rock is a quartz mica pyrite rock that it characterizes the Hemlo style mineralization, as well as our style of mineralization at the McKinnon Zone. And not all of the high grade prospects that we see on our property have this kind of mineralization, but this is the starting point for us. And you can see from the table the nature of some of the better grades, some of the better results from the old Falcon Ridge days. 23 grams per ton over a meter, 11 or including 11 grams over 2 meters, 7 grams over 7 meters, sort of thing. 2 grams over 24 meters. So there's a wide variety of styles here, which we have to start to deliver on and test and check with our drilling. So to wrap up where we're going, we have, as I say, a very aggressive exploration program going on ahead of us. This year alone, 8,000 meters of drilling, sort of buffered by other activities, geology, geophysics, and geochemistry to help targeting in the future. And the real goal here is to really seriously evaluate and build on the existing resource, as well as identify new targets. And we anticipate making a lot of progress this year. So to wrap it up, it's a great story. There's a lot of potential here for growth. And the thing for investors to realize is that the fact that we're here 40 years on since the last cohesive exploration effort occurred on this project is now being undertaken here with new ideas and new technologies. And I thank you for listening, and we can move on with questions as you see fit.
Fantastic, Eric. Really appreciate you running us through this new and exciting story in the Hemlo mining camp, which is really interesting district, and the McKinnon Zone looks super fascinating. And we do have one question here in the chat, and since you're a fairly newly listed company, the question is, and I'm assuming the attendee that asked the question is based in the US, is they're asking whether you're applying for an OTC listing anytime soon.
The answer to that is yes. We'll probably aim for a little later in the year for that purpose. That's the goal. We've already been discussing it with people. Since we're just getting started, it's all about directing our finances and our monies to the best places right now. We're still figuring that out. But yes, absolutely. Our plan is to be listed in the OTC as time goes on.
Great, Eric. I really appreciate you joining us. We're out of time, unfortunately, but I'm sure there will be more questions in the chat in a couple seconds here as well.